It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome to the Daylight Midnight Show. My name is Greg and I can't really remember how I'm supposed to start these shows. I don't know how to start the show this week, so maybe that's what we need to look at. Let's get straight to the elephant in the room, which is my absence from the Daylight Midnight Show. Now, if you're finding these after, say, the middle of October 2021, and you're just going through them in order one after the other, this probably won't mean anything to you, but those of you that have kind of been following this show since the start of the series might have realised that the gap between episode 18 and episode 19, which is this one, has been a bit lengthier than I might have anticipated it to be. It's been about 3 months, I think, which is pretty much unforgivable. And I could make up loads of excuses, you know, earlier part of July, Britain opened up again after the pandemic and everyone was allowed to do everything, so there was lots more work stuff to do. I had some writing work that I had to get on with. I had a couple of filming projects coming as well. But the honest truth is, I have this inherent laziness within me that stops me from doing stuff. There's also another part of me that is almost self-punishing, and things that I enjoy doing, my mind will trick me into not doing as a way of sort of punishing myself because I don't deserve to enjoy myself. It's very hard to explain. If you suffer from something similar, you'll understand it. Otherwise, you'll need about 4 different psychology degrees and 10 hours with me in a therapy session to understand it. But that kind of happened as well. I won't call it a crisis of confidence, but something weird happened where I started second guessing what I was planning to do. So I would come up with an idea of something I'd like to film, and then I'd go, oh, that's ridiculous, that's really stupid and a waste of time. Forgetting, of course, that the whole point of this show was that it was supposed to be stupid. It's supposed to be me doing silly stuff and giving you something to laugh at. So I don't know where all that came from, but I've managed to get through it now, and we are back. It was just any kind of work that you do, the longer you leave it, the harder it is. You know, if you don't mow your lawn for a few days, it's not an issue. You get the mower out, you go over the grass, it's short again. You leave it a week, it gets a bit longer and it's a bit more of a job. If you leave it 4 weeks, you just start looking out the window and going, can't be bothered, it's too much work. So all that was going on. We've had a bit of a break, but we are back. The show is up and running again, and thank you for coming along to watch episode 19 of the Daylight Midnight Show. So after all that, let's get on with the show then by revealing our wonderful word of the week. Now, in case you can't remember, this is a word I've encountered since the last show. I can't say in the last 7 days because it doesn't apply this time, but it's something I've encountered since the last show, and I've looked up what it means, and I like the word, so I'm going to share it with you. And this week it is the word dangdut. Now, doesn't that look lovely? I've done this in lowercase because it looks better than in all uppercase. You might have heard me mention before that I like the way certain words look, regardless of what they mean or how they sound. I like the way they look on the page. And this is a winner. Now, I just saw this out of context and I didn't have a clue what it meant, so before I looked it up I had a bit of a guess at what it might mean. So these are a few ideas that I thought the word dangdut might be, because it does look like a word that could mean a lot of things. So I thought it could be the annoying bit of bogey that clings to your nostril hair after you blow your nose and you don't notice until someone points it out. You know, we've all been there. You have a cold, blow the nose, someone goes, oh, Mike, you've got a bit of a dangdut hanging there in your nostril hair. Doesn't mean that though. Option number 2 I came up with is the word that disappears from your vocabulary just as you're about to use it in a sentence. This happens a lot more as you get older. Happens to me on a daily basis now. You'll be in the middle of a conversation, you're explaining something, and a word that you know full well disappears from your mind completely. Could be anything, noun, verb, adjective. Walking down the road, yeah, I saw Shelley yesterday and she was pointing out in the shop window and she said she was and the word is something obvious like breathing. So I thought, you know, you could be in a conversation with someone and say, oh, sorry, I've just had a bit of a dangdut. The word's gone out of my head completely. Or option 3, I thought it could be the weird bit of metal on your phone that the charger plugs into, which if you're anything like me, breaks off and falls out or gets pushed inside and then the phone is unchargeable. You know the bit I mean? That little bit in there. I've lost about 3 phones because of that thing. But dangdut doesn't mean any of that. Dangdut is in fact an Indonesian word. It's a style of music. It's a drum-based style of music. They call it folk music, I suppose. That sort of thing. Sit around the campfire telling stories of old, and that music is called dangdut. You can look it up. It's got a really good rhythm to it. So that's our word of the week, and from there we swing round to the door of delights. Now, nothing has changed on here at all, and this is partly why when I was thinking about starting this up again, instead of just scrapping the rest of Series 2 and saying, all right, we'll start from afresh from now and call it Series 3, I decided to go from episode 18 to 19 and pick up Series 2 again, because nothing's changed on the Door of Delights. I haven't redecorated the office, I haven't even dusted once in the last 3 months. So we've still got the house rules, we've still got The adverts for food products we were going to produce, they faded in the sun, so they need to come down, but I've left them up for now. Still got our show mascot, Pogo Dave Penguin. We've still got the puffins. I think they were Atlantic puffins, is that right? It was a long time ago now. The only thing I remember from all those facts I researched is the fact that their beak changes colour in mating season. So it tends to be grey in winter, and then when it approaches the mating season, it goes orange like that. And of course we've still got Outfit Roulette with the same options that we had during episode 18, and of course we'll get to that a bit later on. One thing that is new on here though is this, which is this week's Topical Limerick. The story is this. I hate to labour the point, but the Daylight Midnight show has just had an unexplained 3-month, give or take, hiatus. Probably the longest season break in history. Could give you apologies, excuses and explanations, but I've gone over it once. Let's not go over it again. I'm just going to give you the limerick. So, there once was a very tall man who came up with a new YouTube plan. Here's the way things will go. I won't promise a show, I'll just film them whenever I can. I would give that a B, but it's been too long since the last one, so with that in mind, that's a D+. So from the Door of the Lights we always go round to the brown folder, which of course has its own theme song. And I should probably point out, it has a new ukulele as well. This is actually older than the other ukulele I've got, but my son is borrowing that one to try and learn, so I thought I'd go back to this one, which is my older one, which I used for a Halloween show, and I used permanent marker instead of temporary marker, so it's got all these lovely weird decorations on. Anyway, brown folder theme song. Sometimes Outfit Roulette means I will wear a dressing gown. Let's see what is written in the folder. That is brown. I'm not sure that's the same chords I used before, but it's been so long since I played it. And anyway, it's a work in progress, so it doesn't matter. So the brown folder, in case you've forgotten, is just something I carry around with me, and I write down little ideas in it of things I'd like to talk to you about, and then when I do the show, we open it up and go through it all together. You'd think this would be packed full because it's been so long since we did it, but actually there's only a few written down. And I can't remember any of them, so let's go through them together. Point number 1 then. Derek Jacobi has always looked 50. There was a really rainy day over the summer, and I put on the telly. I just wanted to sit there and watch something, and an old episode of Cadfael came on in which Derek Jacobi plays a monk, and it's a very, very good show, so I sat and watched it. And I thought, I saw him in a film recently. This programme's about 30 years old, and he doesn't look any different. So I looked back, and there's old footage on YouTube of him rehearsing with the Royal Shakespeare Company, I think in about 1950, and he's looked exactly the same. So I think Derek Jacobi has got the secret of eternal youth, or he's part of some government conspiracy experiment, but we'll talk about that another week. Number 2 then, I think the vaccine has given me Alzheimer's. I don't need to talk about that anymore. That was back in July and it was just tiredness. Number 3, cows in a field story. I can't remember when this was, but I was driving back from doing a bit of work, and on the way back to my house I went past a field full of cows, and this incident happened. This reveals a few things about me. This is something about my eyes, which I'll come back to in a moment. The fact that I sometimes just get the urge to try and be helpful with situations, and I end up sticking my nose in where it shouldn't be and causing more problems than I'm hoping to solve. And the other one is where my mind can just go off on weird tangents and just take me down real rabbit holes. So I was driving back, there was a field of cows, maybe 40, 50 different cows, all happily grazing, all different colours, and then I spotted something moving along from the edge of the field towards a small group of cows. And my mind went, that doesn't look right. Something is happening there. It's someone crouching down and they're creeping up on the cows. To do what? I don't know. Tip them over. Bit of cattle rustling. Turn one of them into a suicide bombing cow. I don't know. But in my mind, I had to help. So I pulled the car into the side of the road. I got out. I climbed over the gate. I started walking across the field, planning in my head, do I call the police, the bomb squad, the farmer? Do I just shout? Do I tackle them myself? And when I looked again, it was just another cow that I had mistaken for someone hunching over. And instead of look at it properly and work out that it was a cow, I went into this anti-terrorist 24 scenario and went after it. So that brings me to the point that there's something wrong with my eyes, which I'm getting looked at this week. Point number 4, are pepper seeds the most annoying thing on earth? Very much a first world problem, but I like peppers and I use them in salads and stir fries and soups. And I've never noticed this before, but once I noticed it, it seems to happen every time. No matter how you slice them up or cut them or peel them or empty them, the little seeds get everywhere. And it's like, do you remember those old style comedies where someone would have a bit of plaster stuck to the finger and they'd shake it to get rid of it and it gets stuck to... That's what pepper seeds do. They stick to bloody everything, the knife, the chopping board, the bowl. You cannot get rid of them and you're not supposed to eat them. So that was obviously annoying me at this point. Number 5 this week, introduce our new friend. Yes, you have to excuse me, at least you'll get to see that I'm wearing the wetsuit. Apologies if my groin comes up close to the camera at this point, but I've acquired something new in the studio. This is our friend the spider plant. I don't think we should name him, but this is going to officially be the official plant of the Daylight Midnight show. So we've got this lovely spider plant, and I'm hoping if this goes on and I don't have another massive break, Series 3, I'd like to be behind the desk again, so we'll have that on the desk when we redecorate for Series 3. And it goes back to that inherent laziness. I think this show is better when I'm behind the desk, but it goes back to that laziness. I can't be bothered to move the desk every time I want to do the show, so I've decided to do it like this. That is what I am like. And the final point from the brown folder then, point number 6, there is nothing in the world as disappointing as opening a coconut and finding it is bad inside. Again, very much the first world problem, but it's happened to me twice in the last month. I love coconut. I think coconut or ginger, my favourite flavours. I love eating fresh coconut. Twice we've bought them, shaken them, sounds lovely, you crack them open and it's going bad inside and you can't eat it, and I don't know how I've survived, to be honest. So that's everything in the brown folder, and I think that's everything I want to say for this week. I forgot to set the timer yet again because I'm getting back into the habit of it, so I hope we haven't gone over 10 minutes, but let's crack on then. Outfit roulette. Deciding what I'm going to wear using the randoms of the room tube. Hopefully it's not the wetsuit because I'll get so hot wearing this. It's black yet again, so it'll be this black jacket on again on the next show. Under that we'll be wearing whatever is in column orange, which is my onesie. That's going to be even warmer than the wetsuit. And to accessorise all that, finally from column 3 we'll go with black again. It's the cowboy hat, which digs into my head, so I'm going to have great fun next time. Black jacket with a onesie and a cowboy hat. That is it. It's good to be back. A rhyming couplet to end the show on then. I'd hoped that by October we'd be into Series 3, but often plans gang aft agley of mice and men and me. I'm going to say this, even though it's meaningless. I will see you next week. Have a great 7 days.